La Cinque Terre. Charming little towns nestled in the cliffside along the Italian Riviera.
Oh my gosh. But was it everything we expected it to be?
You know we're gonna keep it real in the review. Stay tuned. Welcome to Abroad with the Burrells, a channel for travelers by travelers. I'm Coleman.
And I'm Jamie.
Go on and hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second and it costs you nothing. Today we're talking about La Cinque Terre, which is Italian for 5 lands. 5 charming villages nestled on the cliffside along the Italian Riviera. The 5 villages that you'll be able to visit: Cornelia, Rio Maggiore, Manarola, Vernazza, and Monterosso.
We ended up taking a train from Florence to the Cinque Terre, and it took about 2.5 to 3 hours. There is a train that connects all 5 towns, but you can also hike from town to town, which could be really, really amazing, as we've heard. We chose the train route just because we have Brooklyn with us, and so it made things much more convenient.
This is what happens when you travel with the baby. It's just a lot of pieces of luggage here. Baby, car seat, need that. Baby clothes, diaper bag, our luggage, pack and play, stroller piece. All of it just equals a whole lot of hassle when you're trying to move from spot to spot.
Equals a good workout.
One of the beautiful things about La Cinque Terre goes without say, the views.
Yes.
The views are absolutely stunning, and you notice them the minute the train pulls into the area. The water was just sparkling blue and just,
the buildings are all different colors.
Yeah.
It's so breathtaking.
It's gorgeous.
It is a gorgeous place.
Yeah. You'll have to decide which of the 5 towns you'll want to stay in. Each town has its own charm and its own attributes that you need to take into account. For instance, if you're going into Monterosso, it has the best beach of the 5 towns. It is also very tourist friendly and has all the amenities that you would want as a visitor. Look at that water. Round 2, Monterosso. Sarah, George, Rafael. Yeah. Oh, he wants to be a star. If you're going into a place like Rio Maggiore, it's a little bit more secluded, so you'll have that sort of native charm to it, but you'll be limited in terms of how it will cater to you as a tourist. If you're not really into the beachy thing or a lot of people, then Cornelia is awesome because it's set up on top of the mountain, a ways away, sort of separated from the beach, but it still has that small Italian village type charm. So you need to research and find out what suits your preferences or which village among the 5 you would like to stay in. For Jamie and I, we narrowed it down to the 2 towns of Manarola and Vernazza. It was a very difficult decision for us, but after much deliberation, we decided on Manarola.
Yes, and after visiting Vernazza, however,
We should have stayed in Vernazza.
we should have stayed in Vernazza. When we got to Vernazza, we just went there for a few hours, and it was just more convenient. You know, there were restaurants open later. There was just a mixture of people that were willing to help you versus like Italians that made you feel like you were bothering them.
Yeah.
And so, knowing what we know,
we
recommend staying in Vernazza.
And so does Rick Steves. We should have listened to you, Rick.
I know, sorry, Rick.
When staying in Manarola, we stayed in an apartment called Le Storie di Manarola, and it was on top of the cliff with arguably the greatest view from the town that you can possibly get.
We really loved our room. We loved the views. It was just an incredible spot that we landed on. Okay, we finally arrived in Manarola in Cinque Terre. Here's our room. My glistening husband. Cute little day bed. Very nice.
Gorgeous.
Inclusive snacks.
Gotta see the view.
Brooklyn, you like it? Yes. Our room, our bed. The bathroom is very, very nice. The shower is incredible. Look at that bad boy. Everything's very nice and updated, decorated very cutely. But the best part of all, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh my goodness. Best part, look at that view right out of our window. Wow. Even out the other window. You want to see the view too, huh, baby? Bam! Look at that. Unbelievable. I can't believe we're actually here. Wow.
So now that we've talked about where we stayed and the 5 towns and where you should stay, let's get straight into those must-dos.
When you get there, the number one thing to do is relax. So we had gone to Venice already, and then we spent some time in the region of Tuscany, and then we decided to end in a more relaxed place. And part of that relaxing brings us to our must-do number 2, which is to really eat some good seafood. We're in Italy, so we were already eating a lot of pasta. We continue to eat pasta, but we also were able to really branch out and get that fresh seafood being right there on the coast.
One of the staple fish in the diet in that region is anchovies. And we have always thought of anchovies as being nasty. If you're a fan of the Ninja Turtles like we are, Michelangelo told us that anchovies are horrible.
I want a large, thick crust with double cheese, ham, pepperoni. Oh, but no anchovies. And I mean no anchovies. You put anchovies on this thing and you're in big trouble, okay?
Okay, so we're trying anchovies here. And the Ninja Turtles always said that they're disgusting. So let's see what we say. Anchovies. And they are quite a delicacy here. This particular part of Italy, they are very beloved.
Scales and all.
Down the hatch.
Scales?
Down the hatch. Is it good?
Wow. It's not all salty.
All right. Can't wait to dig in.
It's really good. Brooklyn's first time trying a lemon in Cinque Terre. Brooklyn, is that good?
She's not even flinching at
I
it.
know.
Hey, there it is. Did it clear your senses?
So you like that? Dang, girl.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's good.
Too cute.
And I think we had quite a different experience than any of the turtles did. Another high recommendation while you're out eating, if you're in the town of Manarola, eat some focaccia bread at one place in particular. To date, it is the best focaccia bread we have ever eaten.
Oh my god.
And that's no exaggeration. In fact, we knew it was good because we were looking for a place to eat one night, and we stopped at a man's restaurant and he was closing, and he said, you know what? If you want good food, walk to the other side of town, go to a place called A Pie di Campo. It's the best focaccia bread in all of Italy. And he did not lie.
Look at her, honey.
This focaccia bread is next level. What do you think, honey? Oh, a bottle? Not quite as good as what we're eating.
One day, baby. I mean, it's an entire meal, and it was the best thing that we ate while we were there. I mean, it was so incredible. So definitely go.
Goes without saying, but if you're on the coast in the Italian Riviera, go for a swim. Swimming in Manarola was awesome. There was a huge rock that you can jump off and dive. The water was very pleasant. Bring your swim trunks, be ready to get in there and have a blast.
And when we went to Vernazza for our day trip, we noticed an even beachier area where, you know, it was a little more accessible, especially with the baby, to go swimming. So that's another option. This is kind of two must-dos. You have to go swimming, okay? And with that, make sure you visit Monterosso, even if you're not staying there. You know, they have just umbrella-lined shores. The water's very nice, and so, you know, there's little bars along the area. That
There's like a boardwalk strip that you can walk down and get some food.
So it's got everything you need as a tourist, and so go. Highly, highly recommended.
Yes. In fact, we recommend to visit all of the villages. If you can get to all 5, that would even be optimal for you if you were staying there.
We were unaware of how challenging it would be to actually get to where we were trying to go. Add a baby and 9 pieces of luggage on top of that, and it's a recipe for like a really unhappy situation.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned earlier, took a train from Florence. Because the towns are so small, they're not going to take you directly to the towns. They take you to a spot called La Spezia. From La Spezia, we had to take another train that took us along the 5 towns. So we were not told that. This leg of the trip, we actually booked with a agent because there were too many moving pieces, and they did not make that part clear. So make sure you understand there's a specific train that just runs along the 5 towns, and you got to get to that train. Once we figured that out, we were good to go. But it is not easy unless you do your research and know exactly what you need to do to get there.
I can't speak for the other 4 towns, but I can say for Manarola, when you first arrive there, it is very difficult to navigate to your particular hotel or apartment. When you first get there, it just appears like a jumbled maze of twisting stairs and alleyways and avenues. Even asking for directions in terms of how do we get to this address, no one was able to provide us with any clear and consistent directions.
We asked actual police officers that we saw standing around, like for a street name. They had no idea what it was.
No clue.
And we're like, okay, so where do we go? We asked waiters at nearby restaurants, but they still could not help us.
People were basically saying, oh, just go this way. So when you can't find where your hotel is or your apartment is, fine, you have to venture off and explore and kind of find it, which can be well and good and maybe an adventure for some. But when you are weighted down with luggage like we were, and you have a child, it made the experience very frustrating. Luckily, we were able to finally get to our destination with the help of some very friendly travelers that were there along with us. So, Matt from France, if you're hearing this, merci beaucoup, mon ami. From the bottom of my heart, you were just amazing in that.
C'est mon ami Matt. Il aide-moi à montrer l'escalier. C'est la dernière fois que je visite ici avec un bébé.
Too many stairs.
Yeah.
Probably the smallest set of stairs they've ventured today. I don't know what we would do if we hadn't met him. Thank you, Jesus. Are there more?
Yes.
There are a ton of stairs. All the villages we went to, pretty much you have to face stairs at some point.
Just like we said in our Santorini video, if you have a trip planned to that area of Italy and you've got a few months, you've got time to get your fitness game in order, because climbing those stairs is hard work.
I mean, these were some of the tallest staircases that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And then you turn the corner and there's another one. I mean, they were like never ending.
Yeah.
Never ending. It was just, and it was in the middle of summer. Getting there was you wanted to rip your hair out. We're just gonna be honest about it.
For those of you that have the same mindset that we had, we wanted to book our hotel at the top of the cliff for optimal views. Fine, well and good, but just understand you're gonna have to put the work in to get that view, and that means climbing stairs to get to the top of the mountain.
Now, as the trip unfolded, we realized there was actually a road we could have gone up. It would have taken longer, but we would have actually been able to push the stroller, not carry it up thousands and thousands of stairs.
Yeah.
But no one told us that.
Now that being said, once you're there for a day or two and you get a layout of the town, it is a lot easier to navigate, and you find out it is pretty simple. There's basically one main avenue that loops around Manarola, but just that initial touching down can be pretty tricky. So just be aware of that and be prepared, and we would probably say pack light.
And what makes it worse, though, we found out later there's actually a shuttle that takes you up the hill.
Yeah, we figured that out like on the second to last day.
But the fact that no one had this information, you know,
Right,
it was just
exactly.
like,
No one
it could
told
have
us.
saved us a lot of stress. So hopefully we're doing that for you.
Yes. Another thing about Manarola to be aware of is it is a small town and things close early. So if you're going to eat and go to a restaurant, make sure you get there in decent enough time.
And with that, I mean, there were restaurants that we'd walk up on, but because they had all their seats filled, they're like, we're closing in an hour, but nothing's gonna open up. We did mention how staying in a place like Vernazza makes it a little more accessible because bigger town, more restaurants, and so you had more options.
And remember, you're in a remote town. It's not like you can just get in a car and drive somewhere where they're going to be serving these things. You're going to be out of luck.
So the last thing we wanted to just be real transparent about, there were some Italians, some locals that really gave off the vibe like they were annoyed by the sheer amount of tourists. We did get into conversations with several locals or other tourists who told us stories about how, you know, locals there have kind of felt infringed upon. All these tourists are coming to their spot and making it crowded and taking up space. And so we had personal encounters with several locals that were either real, you know, irritated or annoyed by our presence. And we came across other visitors who experienced the same thing. And that is something that, you know, you can feel a little more comfortable with places like Vernazza and Monterosso, where they're expecting the tourists, right? You do have some villagers that they realize that a huge part of their livelihood relies on this. And so they do embrace it, but some places it's unwanted. And so, you know, we still had a wonderful time there, but just know that there's some people that they like their little town the way it is, small and quaint, and they don't want it to be flooded with a bunch of tourists.
So that's gonna do it for our review of La Cinque Terre. If this video has been inspirational, informational, or helpful in any way, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the like. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Overall, La Cinque Terre has our shining endorsement, and we definitely recommend going there if you're going to be in and around Italy in any way. The Italian Riviera is beautiful. The towns are charming, the food is delicious, and the water is nice. Come on in.
We've also heard it, you know, be compared to like the Amalfi Coast, but it's not as well known, and so it kind of is a nice little getaway because it's not as populated as the Amalfi Coast. So.
From our family, the Burrells, to you, we wish you guys all safe travels. Please be safe during this quarantine, and don't forget, when all this is over and it is lifted, to get out there, make it happen,
and have fun.
And have fun, guys.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you later.